Hey, what's going on guys? Hayes here for another ZENLESS video, and with Miyabi being 2 days away from being released, I wanted to make not a why you should pull video, but why aren't you pulling video instead. Because ever since the beta, Miyabi has been the most talked about and hyped character so far, and she has an insane kit to back it up. Let's talk about Miyabi and exactly why I think she's worth the hype. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy it. Let's get into it. Miyabi is an ice anomaly unit with one of the most busted kits to date. Starting off with Miyabi's core passive, Searing Cold, which allows her to apply Ice Fire to the target for 30 seconds after she hits them. And as she builds up anomaly on their targets with Ice Fire, her anomaly buildup rate is increased by 100% of her own crit rate to a maximum increase of 80%. So basically, the more crit rate Miyabi has, the faster her anomaly buildup rate is. So she's kind of the best of both worlds between both attack and anomaly units, a hybrid if you will. And when Miyabi accumulates Frost Anomaly, it is considered as its own independent attribute anomaly buildup gauge that triggers Freeze, Shatter, and Frostbite all at the same time, that can also react with other attribute anomalies, including the normal ice attribute anomaly to trigger Disorder. I know that was a lot, but that basically means that Miyabi has her own anomaly in a sense that can still react with regular ice anomaly and other elements to trigger Disorder, which is pretty sick in my opinion. Moving on, when Miyabi applies Frostbite to enemies with Ice Fire, it will consume the Ice Fire to trigger Frost Burn Break, dealing frost damage equal to 1500% of Miyabi's attack, causing the targets to enter the Frostburn state, which then makes all squad members accumulate 20% more anomaly buildup against enemies under the Frostburn state. But there's a catch. Miyabi cannot reapply Ice Fire to these enemies, and the Frostburn state ends when Frostbite expires. While the state remains active though, triggering another attribute anomaly will overwrite Frostbite and remove Frostburn, so be careful of when and what you're applying to the target. And upon triggering Frostburn Break, Miyabi obtains 1 point of Fallen Frost, and this effect can be triggered once every 10 seconds. Now you may be asking, what the heck is Fallen Frost? Fallen Frost points are what Miyabi needs to activate her special basic attack, Shimotsuki. When Miyabi has at least 2 points of Fallen Frost, hold your basic attack to activate Shimotsuki to make Miyabi enter the Shimotsuki stance and charge up. Every level of charge will consume 2 points of Fallen Frost up to a maximum of 3 levels of charge. And when releasing, or when Fallen Frost is completely depleted, Miyabi will draw her blade and unleash a powerful slash ahead based on the current charge level, dealing massive frost damage. Then she will exit the Shimotsuki stance. So TLDR, the more stacks of Fallen Frost that Miyabi has, the more damage her basic attack will do. She's also invulnerable during the Shimotsuki stance, and Miyabi can have up to 6 points of Fallen Frost. Miyabi has multiple ways of accumulating Fallen Frost points, such as entering the battlefield, which gives her 3, using her EX special, which gives her up to 4 because her EX special has 2 parts. The first part is just casting it normally to deal damage and gain 2 points, but if you tap it again to consume extra energy in quick succession, you can launch a follow-up attack, which means you can get another 2 points of Fallen Frost, up to a total of 4 from her EX special. And lastly, but definitely not least, her ultimate gives 3 points of Fallen Frost when used. Speaking of her ultimate, Miyabi's ult is pretty simple, dealing an insane amount of ice damage when activated and also increasing her ice damage by 30% for 10 seconds. And as mentioned before, gives her 3 stacks of Fallen Frost when her ultimate is casted. Moving on to her additional ability, Bask in Frost, that activates when another character in your squad is a support character or shares the same faction as Miyabi. Her basic attack, Shimotsuki's damage, is increased by 60%, and when any squad member triggers this order, Miyabi obtains 2 points of Fallen Frost, and the damage of Shimotsuki during the next Shimotsuki stance will ignore 30% of the target's ice resistance, which is kind of like ACHERON from HSR in a way. If you guys have played, you would know that when any member on your team triggers a debuff or a disorder in Miyabi's case, they both get a point towards their most powerful move. In this case, Acheron's ult and Miyabi Shimotsuki's stance. So just by having a support / member of her faction character on the team, Miyabi's Shimotsuki stance gains a 60% damage increase for free and also ignores 30% of the target's ice resistance. Miyabi's main source of damage is definitely her Shimotsuki stance, and her team definitely wants to revolve around Disorder in order to generate Fallen Frost stacks as fast as possible for her to do damage quickly. So her team generally wants to have another anomaly unit in it to trigger Disorder to gain those stacks. So some of her best teammates are going to be definitely Yanagi, which is her best in slot teammate. I don't see anybody being better than Yanagi for her in a while. And for the third slot, you can probably just slide in Caesar, since Miyabi doesn't have a dedicated support for now. Caesar's shield and buff are so good that you may as well put her on the team until we get that broken support for her. And this will probably be her best team for now, but some alternatives that you can use are Lighter, Lucy, Bernice, Piper, or even Nicole in certain team comps can be useful, since Miyabi doesn't really have the grouping that other DPSs have. Nicole can help trigger Disorder and group the enemies as well, not to mention her defense reduction ability that she has. So in certain ways, ways, Nicole can be a pretty good teammate for Miyabi as well. But no matter who you use, Miyabi is sure to perform just because that's just how good she is. Miyabi is definitely going to be one of, if not the best character that we have ever received so far in ZZZ, even surpassing the likes of J&O. And I think she is a must pull for both new and old players. This was Hayes, hope you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe if you did. I wish you luck on your Miyabi pulls, peace.